Yo, this is John with Roll With Me, here with Juss.
What up, man? This is Justin from Roll With Me. How y'all doing today?
Today we're doing the Q&A. Basically just going to sit down with Juss, talk to him about everything, so you guys can get to know him. Check this out.
They tell me, yo, your car wasn't stolen. I remember I got jumped in the fair in 2002. I got hit with a blue stick in my back.
I guess we'll start with Juss.
Just a young man from Brockton, Mass.
Yeah.
Grew up there since I was a little kid. Just been over here all my life. Going through what I go through, man. You know, same old, same old.
So you're born and raised in Brockton?
Born and raised. At a time when they didn't even make kids in Brockton. Everybody born in stores, but I'm from Brockton. For real.
Alright, so born in the hospital in Brockton.
In the hospital in Brockton. At
School.
the time, they didn't have any kids in Brockton. Everybody was born in stores. I'm born in Brockton on the first.
Nice. So overall, you're proud to be from your city? Proud
I'm proud of my city, proud of where I'm from, proud of who I am, proud of everything. I can't change who I am for nothing, so Brockton can get higher all the time.
Definitely. So overall, tell me about Brockton. If for somebody who's not from here, who doesn't really know too much about it.
Brockton is a city outside of Boston, which is the major city in Massachusetts. I mean, got a suburb area, but barely, you know what I'm saying, more of a city feel, city type. It's a smaller city than most cities, but for Massachusetts, it's one of the cities that are known for a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying. We have a big crime rate, things like that, but you know, other than that, it's a family city where you see a lot of people going to be keeping this free, a lot of people that here been here forever.
I heard they call this like the city within the city. Is that pertaining to Boston?
Exactly.
Being like, because when I look at Brockton, me personally, I've been here a few years. It's like built like Boston, not as big as Boston, but it's like urban and you know like big buildings, side streets, all that stuff like Boston.
So cool. I'm gonna explain that to you right now. The city outside of the city, like you said, it's that name because of the size and the amount of people in such a small area. But Boston is the major city where all the bigger buildings and all the stuff like you see like in the LA area or like Georgia with Atlanta being the major cities and places like that. But Brockton is a city within the Massachusetts town or state that is closest to Boston, you know what I'm saying? We're literally what, 20 minutes outside of Boston?
Yeah.
You get on that highway, you're within 20 minutes or less, you know?
Yeah.
You can see the difference real fast, you know what I'm saying? You can tell when you're in Brockton and when you're outside of Brockton.
Nah, that's a fact.
Especially the good part of it too. You know what I'm saying? It sucks to be that name, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah. What part of Brockton did you grow up in? Because I know they break it up into sides. Like you got the north side, south side, east side, west side. Where did you particularly grow up?
Honestly, I got a family that's big, so I'm all over, but the main side that I grew up on and was basically raised on the dirt, like all the times, especially when I got older, so that teenage age in New York, was from the south side.
South side. I heard it goes down on the south side.
The south side gets it in, man. It's a rough part of the city, but I'm not gonna discredit anybody other side of Brockton, but Brockton's known for a lot of stuff and a lot of things, you know, so. And the south side and the north side are the major sides of the city that go through what they go through.
So tell us where we at right now.
Oh, right now we at that part over.
It's good. We roll.
Yeah. Right now we at all for one barbershop. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
that can't be spoken on camera?
I mean, to us it could be spoken on, but the new location, new name, new status, new situation, so that's what it is.
Yeah, because we don't have to cut something out of the clip.
Yeah.
But nah, that's cool. So what side of town is this barbershop particularly on?
This is more or less the west side. I can't say I didn't grow up on the west side because I did grow up on the west side. I grew up in Pine Grove.
Yeah.
I went to school at Hancock Elementary School. I went to West Junior High School. And I went to Brockton High School. It's the only 3 schools I ever went to at all in Brockton. So some people switch schools a lot, but I went to those 3 major schools and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Speaking of school, like, did you like playing sports in school? Was you active, or was you one of those kids like high school?
I went to school. I did school. School was cool with me. I was good with it. You know what I'm saying? Sports-wise, I played sports outside. I played in all the leagues and stuff like that. But as far as for the school, I was never too big of a dude. So I played my part at all times. I played football. I played basketball. I did baseball. I did soccer for like a year. But more or less, that was it for me for sports.
Yeah, basic sports that black people play.
Exactly.
Today, like, let's see, since you play sports and everything, what were some things that, like, because, I see your movement, you aim at a lot of, like, young people who's not making the right decisions, or, like, who's not making the best choices in life, and you want them to do a little bit better. So I would say at that age of the crowd that you target, what type of things were you into?
I'll say, like, between my junior high and high school years, I did play mainly sports. I played mainly basketball, and everybody I grew up with played with my basketball teams, family, friends, and all that. It's just from there, we stayed together as friends 2 years and on. You know what I'm saying? So after that, we was mainly together in the same area, in the same hood too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say all the kids on my team, but most of the Cape Verdean kids, because I'm mixed. I'm Cape Verdean and black. You know what I'm saying? So most of the Cape Verdean kids I grew up with, and some of my cousins that are black too, that been mistaken for Cape Verdean too, you know what I'm saying? We all grew up on the south side and we chose in the same place that they labeled us to be from. Where we grew up at and where we played at forever, you know?
No, you good, bro. You get my boy first. So, like, moving forward, like, of course, you grew up, you had your different friends, the different things, like, of course, we know the situation about what happened and everything, like, what was the lifestyle up until that point, like, just chilling,
And my lifestyle up until that point, straight streets, man. Especially after high school, and I graduated from high school right on time, but I skipped by the skin of my teeth. I just made it out of school.
But you got your diploma.
But I got my diploma.
Not a GED.
Nah, a straight diploma. You know what I'm saying? After that, like I said, it was mainly streets, man. I grew up doing certain things. My family didn't want me to do those things. Even the cousins that are older than me, man, they tried their best to keep me out that lifestyle, away from that shit. But it just, the area where you come from is what you basically are stuck in. You know what I'm saying?
Product of your environment.
Yo, POM, your product of my environment. POM. That's my own home.
I like that.
So, us, we grew up basically streets, man, doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, but hustling, doing other things that involve violence, having problems with other kids from the other side of town, going back and forth with people that I even grew up with sometimes, you know what I'm saying? People I grew up with as kids and knew as friends. By the time we got to a certain age, it was you choosing who you choose, you know what I'm saying? You gotta pick your part, you know what I'm saying? And pick your side of where you're gonna be around and what you're gonna be doing. There's people now that I grew up with even close at certain times that we're no longer friends. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see each other in crossings, funny stares sometimes, funny looks, and especially at that teenage age, there was no telling what was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Until I got shot when I was 22, about to be 23. Literally, 20 days before my birthday. So it was up until that point, all street shit. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie. I lived in multiple towns, other states, because of that. You know what I'm saying? Going back and forth, fighting with people. We got one of the biggest fears that are around Massachusetts. We got Brockton fear. there was times that we wasn't allowed even to go in the field because of the shit that we was doing, the things we was doing back and forth doing with each other, fighting in fist fights, people getting hit. I remember I got jumped in the field in 2002. I got jumped, I got hit with a pool stick in my back, you know. And you got jumped by like 40 people, you know what I'm saying? For some odd reason, where I'm from on the south side, it's only us. There's people that are a block over that don't like us. There's people that are down the street that are just a couple more streets from that don't like us. People here, people there, and then the other side of town don't like us. Except for at that time, luckily we were still cool with some of them. And then later on in life, things change. You know.
That's tough. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Throughout all of that, like, what kind of like mental process do you have for all that pressure? Because that's a lot of pressure to deal with, especially somebody who's 21, 20, 22, you know, all the way up into that. Like, what kind of mentality or mindset you gotta have to deal with all that?
I had that no fear mindset.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of nobody. I fear no man but God. You know what I'm saying? And none of y'all are him, so
Yeah,
if it's about that time, it's about that time.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, you know. I wasn't afraid to fight with nobody. I wasn't afraid to get into it with anybody. And maybe that was one of my downfalls or something like that, because there was days that I was out there acting a fool, a real fool, and I know what it is, you know.
Yeah.
So I knew what it was. If anything was to happen, anything was to go on, you gotta respect that and expect it, because you're doing things that you ain't living right by, so it can happen at any time.
That's real, man. Does that type of pressure like put an emotional strain on you? Because, you know, as men, we don't like to exert our feelings or like say like, oh, you know, yeah, that fucked me up, or excuse my French, or, you know, that kind of like messed me up, like that hurt me, like, you know, like those certain situations, like, dang, that kind of played with my mind and made me feel bad about it or some shit. Like, did it take like a stress, like emotional?
The only thing that ever bothered me about being in the streets and doing certain things, like I said, my family, especially my older cousins, excuse me, my mother's one at 18, my dad's one at 14.
Yeah.
So I got family on both sides, and mostly my black side, all my older cousins and all the men that are around those times was like, yo, Juss, just be careful, if you're out here, be careful, man. And once I got to a certain point, they're like, man, you ain't gonna listen anyways. Let us trying to show you a way and kind of guide you right so you ain't acting a fool out here.
Yeah.
But the only thing that ever bothered me is I'm the oldest out of all my brothers. I got 6 little brothers.
Yeah.
And me leaving the mark on them and feeling like I put them into shit that they didn't have to get involved in, or things that they wasn't involved in, but just because you're related to me in that way, you're labeled as that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, I got 6 brothers. 3 of us been shot, you know what I'm saying? So it's a situation that we live with every day in our life, you know what I'm saying? Like, my brother, that's the quiet one.
Yeah.
He took it kind of worse than a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? He got hit real bad, you know what I'm saying? So that bothers me a lot, and that's the only thing I can do at this time that was able, like, had me really thinking about a lot of things I did and how I lived my life, because shit, if I could go back and change some of those things, I would change a lot of them, just because I don't want to see nobody in my family be hurt, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's real, man.
The same way that it was dealt to us, we was dealing with the same shit, like, the same things that was going on, we was going through the same things back and forth, you know what I'm saying? So there be days, you outside riding around, think everything is cool. Next thing you know, you hearing gunshots like crazy, you know? It's not something you want to hear or go through, but what are you out here living in the lifestyle, and being around certain environments and certain things, you liable to hear at any time.
Yeah. Like, so dealing with all that, of course your situation happened. Before we get you into talking about the situation,